everyone, since it's the end of the year, I feel like it's a time for reflection to think about what has gone well or what has not gone so well for the past year. I was just thinking of reflecting on how my second year of being a lawyer went. I will start with positives. I think one good thing I noticed is that as compared to my first year, now I'm working on certain files by myself, without my senior, without my mentor. Essentially, the only person who clears my work will be my big boss. This means that I actually have to do my work properly because my boss wouldn't have time to go through the nitty-gritties, and he will definitely be trusting me to get them right. And he will only do a broad brush or like a brief review before he sends the documents out. So that's one thing I noticed has changed. Like in the past, I would more or less have to at least clear my work through a senior first. In my first year of lawyering, I was definitely more reliant on my senior, but now there are quite a number of files that I'm just on them alone, and I find it a lot more efficient because you don't have to go through so many checks and comments and review, and basically the back and forths have reduced. But this also comes with the responsibility of ensuring that at least the things that I've done are decent and correct for the most part. So that's one area of growth I've seen over my second year of practice. Second, I also feel that in terms of the team dynamics and team spirit, I'm a lot more comfortable interacting with my teammates and my bosses. I no longer treat them as strangers, or I no longer feel like they're foreign to me, and I no longer feel the need to constantly just keep observing and not contributing in terms of conversation, because that was me in my first year, like trying to observe what each person is like and their character and their personality, what will tick them off and whatnot. So I think after the first year, I've gotten quite comfortable. I know what each person is like. I know who can take a joke, who can't take a joke. I know who can hear feedback, who can't hear feedback. Essentially, I think I've gotten used to the dynamics, so I'm more open with sharing. I think it's a good thing that at least now I feel more at ease with speaking to my boss. I no longer feel that I have to be like a timid mouse or have to answer very respectfully. Yeah, I think sometimes being a bit casual makes things easier, like makes work easier, less stringent. So that's one area I feel has gotten better for me in my second year, despite COVID and despite not interacting with them physically in the office that much. Third area of growth I feel is that, so in my first year of practice, I was more focused on giving advice. Giving advice usually happens when your clients ask certain questions or have certain inquiries about legal matters. For instance, they may ask, can I fire my employee? Or what must I do to fire my employee? So essentially it's telling them what is permitted under the law and what is not permitted under the law, and whether what they've done is in line or not in line with the law. So that was advice, and in my first year, I was mainly focused on giving advice. But in my second year, I feel like I've transited. So advice is like the basics, the easier thing to do, I would think, because it's more similar to law school. Clients come to you with an issue, which is just like any law school question. They will have a lot of issues in the scenario, and you tell them the law, and then after that you apply their situation to the law. So it's very much similar to the way you answer questions in law school, although you have to be more practical because now this is real life and you have to tell the client what they can or cannot do, even operationally. But in my second year, I realized that I've been doing more agreements, drafting agreements, reviewing agreements, and I believe, at least this is what my senior told me, that drafting documents and drafting agreements is the bread and butter of being a lawyer. Essentially, anybody can give advice, but drafting a document is something that only lawyers can do because you're supposed to be sensitive to certain terms you use when you're drafting and the significance of certain types of clauses. I definitely did a lot more agreements. I did manufacturing agreements, supply agreements, service agreements, JVAs, SPA, SSAs. Basically, I did a whole range of agreements, which I love because I feel that it's good exposure and it really brushes up my agreement drafting skills. And I guess it is really the bread and butter of being a corporate lawyer. Like, you need to know how to draft agreements. So that was something that I'm really thankful for, that I had the opportunity to be exposed to a wide variety of agreements. Although I can't say that I'm expert at any of these agreements, but I know roughly I'll be able to put in the correct clauses for the client. Come to think of it, I realized that nobody actually teaches you how to draft an agreement. You basically learn it by yourself. So the trick for me is to go to practical law, and practical law has very good drafting notes, so they'll explain to you what's the significance of this clause and why do people include this clause and how does this clause link to another type of clause. So actually there's a lot of attention to detail and knowing the ammunition that your client can have. Like for instance, your client can ask for rep and warranties. If not, they can negotiate for indemnity. If not, they can get a termination right. Also, to protect your client, certain things need to be a condition as well. Okay, I know this is all legal speak and you don't understand what's going on at all. Essentially, learning the different components of an agreement is like learning all the weapons you have to protect your client. Sometimes you need a sword, sometimes you need a gun, you need a knife or whatever. It's fun times playing with all these weapons. Those were the three things that I felt in terms of growth, I was quite thankful for. Okay, and final thing, you must be very curious, bonus, right? Finally, I got my bonus because in my first year of practice, we don't really get a bonus, or more like the bonus was kind of a standard bonus that was prorated. Essentially, when we were training, we were not considered employees. So for the first 6 months, you technically don't get a bonus, and your bonus will only apply for the remaining 6 months. But in my firm, I think it's a standard rate, so there was nothing much to be excited about. Basically, the bonus was very pathetic, and it wasn't much in the first year. In my second year, I remember I said that, you know, my boss should actually compensate us more because of the whole manpower shortage and everything. And after doing that video, I reflected and I felt, okay, maybe perhaps I could be more grateful towards my boss, or I could just be more grateful towards the fact that I actually have a job and that the COVID situation is not affecting me too badly. You know, I know there are people out there who have lost their jobs, lost their income, and basically they are just struggling to survive during this whole pandemic. But as for me, I'm complaining about having too much work, when in fact I guess it's better to have work than to not have work, and it's better to have an income than to not have an income. So I did pray about it. I did pray for my bosses. I did pray that, you know, they'll be nice, they'll be gentle, they'll be understanding. And I also did pray for, I can't remember whether I exactly prayed for a good reward or a good bonus, but when I saw the bonus, I was content. It's definitely not the best bonus, because I've heard of people getting at least twice the amount of bonus that I was receiving. But it's also not the worst. It was, I don't know, to me I was just like, any amount more, I'm content. I wasn't over the moon, and neither was I disappointed. So I guess that is what contentment is, right? Just feeling alright with the amount that I received. And I'm really super grateful to God that, to me, I feel like it's sufficient reward for my effort, even though it may not be much, even though it may not be the best, but it's also definitely not the worst. So I am content enough. So that's one difference between working in your second year and your first year. Your first year you get no bonus, but in your second year you get a real legit bonus. And of course with a bonus comes the duty to give as well. And I'm thankful that God has blessed me with a bonus so that I can steward it well. I guess that about sums up the positive of my second year of lawyering. Now for the negatives, I feel like it's a bit of a double-edged thing, because one of the positive things I would say, I know I'm talking about negatives now, but it's currently still a positive because in the meantime we're all working from home, and I feel that, wow, my lifestyle has really changed a lot. I've gotten a lot healthier in the sense that instead of spending the time in transit on the train, getting to and from work, now I'm able to spend that time either sleeping, reading the Bible, or exercising. So one way or another, I actually benefit from saving time traveling to and from the office. And I feel that I'm also a lot more efficient because in the office you end up talking to people, you end up chit-chatting. That's what human interaction is about, right? You can't just be doing your work. Basically, there are also quite a number of distractions in the office, and the distractions at home and the office are varying, but I feel that at home I can control it more because for me, my mindset is I want to spend my working hours seriously working so that I don't have to spend after work hours scrambling to finish whatever I couldn't finish during my work hours. So that's my mindset at home. I will shut everything off and basically be super focused. But when I head to office, which I recently did because my boss wanted to do some training, then I realized, oh, that is not possible in the office. At any time, your senior is going to come talk to you, your colleague is going to come talk to you, and everybody's going to have some chit-chat with you. Even if you have no time, you have to make time somehow for all these chit-chats. So you end up working later into the night. That's why I say this is actually kind of a benefit of working from home. But on the downside, I feel like I wouldn't be able to survive going back to office anymore. I don't know how anyone did it, or I don't know how I did it before this whole COVID situation where I really went to office every single day from Monday to Friday and stayed late in the office. Like literally, even without eating dinner, sometimes I would stay all the way to 9 PM straight because I just want to get the work done. And that was really a tough life. Like no exercise during the weekday for sure, because after working till 9 PM, I come home, I'm just exhausted, drained, and it's impossible to even get any physical activity in. I'm not sure if I'll actually be able to adapt to working in office full time again. I'm really not hoping that it happens. I'm really hoping for work from home or even a hybrid arrangement instead of a full-blown office. But I foresee it coming back. So today in Cell, we also discovered this kind of ironic situation because previously, before COVID was widespread, we were all worried about how we have to adapt to this COVID situation, how we have to adapt to working from home and all the inconvenience that it might cause. But now, the worry is the opposite. We are worried about being normal again. We are worried about going back to office. My cellmate was also sharing about how she was worried about going back to school to teach. We are worried about whether we are able to still behave normally as though it was a pre-COVID situation. And I got a feeling that it will take quite a while to adjust and I will get super tired just being physically in the office. I don't really know what to hope for and I don't know what to pray for, but whatever it is, I know that God will have a way. Another negative is I feel like I've developed a certain form of anxiety. I don't know from doing what or from thinking about what. I always felt that I was quite at peace with work because from my first year to my second year, I feel like I have grown also in the aspect of learning how not to worry so much about work. Essentially to have a more chill attitude towards work, like knowing and being confident that okay, I can solve it, I can do this, and I can take my weekends off, I can rest, and I deserve rest, and I will still be able to finish my work. Essentially, I don't have to always rush or stress about doing work. I feel like this is an attitude I've adopted, but at the same time, I feel like my subconscious has gotten a little more anxious, especially when I know that okay, something is due tomorrow. It's a very difficult task and I'm only like halfway, but it's due tomorrow. So this kind of has affected my sleep cycle, and I've been trying to help myself sleep better by, I don't know, for a period I was drinking chamomile tea, now I'm lighting candles, sometimes I'm reading Bible. Basically I've been trying all forms of method to make myself so tired so that I'll be able to go to sleep. I haven't had a good night's sleep in a while. I mean, there are days when I sleep through, there are days when I literally wake up 2-3 times throughout the night. My brain just wakes up. Either it's thinking that I'm taking a nap or it's just worried about, okay, the moment you wake up tomorrow, you better, you know, do this and do that and be efficient with this and that and whatnot. Like, essentially the to-do list is subconsciously keeping me awake. So that's one of the bad things about my second year of lawyering. which I have no solution to. So if you have been surviving this or somehow managed to overcome this, please put down in the comments below and share with me your strategies to help yourself sleep or help me sleep. Overall, I must say that the work year wasn't that bad. I mean, it is bad, there were bad days, there were difficult days, but I suppose I'm just really thankful that at least there were days where we get to work from home and we get to sleep or take a nap when the hours were really bad. We couldn't have done that if we were in the office because I don't know how we're going to take a nap in the office. I realize that it's true, that life gets harder the older you grow. But I feel that at the same time, you also grow to have greater capacity to deal with the more difficult things in life, and that God's grace will always be sufficient for you. So as things get harder, God's grace gets more, and then yeah, you learn to depend on Him more and work closely with Him. Essentially, God gives you what you need. And I feel like God gives me what I need to be able to withstand all this uncertainty and mess, or like just feeling lost at times. I hope that my sharing gives you an insight of what the second year of practice is like. It may not be the same for everyone, but generally this was how it was like for me working in the Gen Corp department. Yeah. And I just hope that sharing my life and my journey through this channel will give you an insight of the life of a normal, random lawyer living in Singapore is like. Yeah, actually there were times when I really wanted to stop doing all these videos and stop doing this channel because I don't know, as you can see, the subscribers are not many. I don't know whether I'm impacting anyone or making a difference in anyone's life, and I really hope to impact someone, even if it's just one person. Like if you just find this information helpful. So if you find it helpful, just show your support by pressing the subscribe button. Each time I want to quit this channel, I realized that my subscribers will increase by 1 or 2. So it's just this 1 or 2 people who just subscribe. And then I feel like, you know, okay, at least I'm making a difference in this 1 or 2 person's life. And because I'm making a difference, or like at least I'm giving you some form of information, right? Then I'll just continue. So as long as I know that it's helping at least one person, I guess I'll continue doing it. That's all. Sorry for being so rambly. I don't know why, I just felt like talking so much today. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. And if you have any thoughts, just leave down in the comments below. I really like it when people comment, and I really also like to hear what you have to say and your thoughts. See you in my next video. Bye!